Hello, welcome to this application walkthrough video for the Community Services Recovery Fund 2023. Please note, this video is for those applying to the Investing in Systems and Processes stream. Before you begin your application, we encourage you to complete the Where to Apply questionnaire and the Where to Apply decision tree. Your first step is to go to this website, cfc-fcc.smapply.ca, and you can click right here where it says Visit the main site, and that will bring you to the main Community Services Recovery Fund.ca website. Next, you can click on Resources, and we'll scroll down, and here you can see the application guide, the Where to Apply questionnaire, frequently asked questions, how to apply webinar, decision tree, and branding toolkit. I'm going to assume that you've already done this and you've already determined that you should be applying to CFC, specifically the stream Investing in Systems and Processes. As such, we'll go back to SurveyMonkey Apply. Next, I'll log in. I have a few extra options. In this case, I'll pick Applicant. And the first thing I'll draw your attention to is that you have until February 21st, 2023 at 5 p.m. PT in order to submit your application. That would be 8 p.m. in Eastern Standard Time. Next, we'll click on Programs, Community Services Recovery Fund, and Apply. First thing it asks for is your organization name. In my case, since this is a test app, I'm going to make it very obvious. Test application, create application. And now you can see different tasks you can complete. Note that some are a bit grayed out because it is expecting you to do them in order, and some of them have prerequisites before they'll unlock. In this case, we can start with the first one. So I'll be going a bit quick at this point because this is really just to show you how to navigate as opposed to answer every single question. This does suggest you read the applicant guide first, just to ensure that you're at the right place, applying for the right stream, and that you have an idea of everything that you'll need. So first is consent. Now, if you are based in province of Quebec, I'll just click yes to show you. It will let you know that you may be subject to M30, and it then refers to the applicant guide for more details. And do you confirm the primary project focus? Once again, want to make sure that you're applying at the right website. Next, you can mark as complete, or if you weren't ready to complete this task, you could save and continue editing it later. Next, we'll move on to the second task. So this is about your organizational information. One thing I should have mentioned earlier is that if you did prefer French, you could go up here and then select French as an option. So we can select one or more of these, or if you want to put something other, you could type something in here. Next, we have our name. It actually does pre-entering some of this based on your account. Website, just as a note, you do have to have this website start with either http:// or https://. If you don't, you'll actually have an error pop up. If you pick registered charity, it will ask you to include a URL. Very important, that's a link to your information, and you can always click here for the CRA website for more information on that. For now, I'm just going to click something else. Another option that you need to do is select Sustainable Development Goal. Once again, you can click on here to see more information. So in this case, you can pick your primary population location served, then your secondary, and then if there's any other ones, you can just click them off. Some of these questions, if it just has a yes, it means that you have to answer yes to continue. If you're unable to answer yes, then it may mean that you're not eligible for the program. Now, for selecting your date, when you first click here, we found that in some cases, the date may actually need to be sooner than what seems possible at first glance. So when you first look here, it looks like the earliest date you can do is 1923. If you need an earlier date than that, you can just select 1923, enter a date here, and then click off, and then click back on, and now there'll be more dates loaded. So in this case, it's important to pick the local community foundation where your project will be delivered. In this way, you can click on the website and it'll open up into a new tab. And this is where you can see. And so let's say, it's going to be this area. So I can be like, okay, Community Foundations of Canada, Saskatchewan, as an example. And then you would go back to here and then you would pick which one you want. Now, if you do not see a community foundation serving the region where your project is being delivered, at that point, you would select Community Foundations of Canada. So that would be here. In this case, I'm just going to pick one randomly. And a warning that if you're not sure, it's really better to find out before you submit your application, because otherwise it can cause delays. All right, mark as complete. If this happens to you, you can click the Back to CFC Portal green button, then click on Applicant, and then you can either click on your application or Programs, and then click See My Application. All right, next will be Task 3. And your project start date. So you can see here, it shouldn't start earlier than May 1st, and it shouldn't end after June 30th, 2024. Right, mark is complete. Next is the budget. Text is required here and numbers are required here. This has default text in 0 just so that if it's not applicable, you can just leave it as it is. Note that the numbers also need to be whole numbers with no decimals, spaces, or dollar signs, or commas. One thing I do want to show is as I enter them out here, it will put it here, and then what this application needs to do is to confirm it by entering it here. However, there is a case where someone might apply for more than $100,000. Okay, so I'm just going to enter this here. One thing that to note, because I entered over $100,000, this section now appears. I'll get back to this in one moment. So in this case, it's making sure that you are aware of the criteria and that you understand what's required. You need to have 2 or more community service organizations partnering or collaborating. Next, you would upload documents. And then mark as complete. All right, 4 of 5 tasks are complete. Next is the funding agreement. And this is essentially a contract. And then you would need to sign. And then mark as complete. And the last you can do is you can review it or submit it. In this case, I'm going to submit. Submit again. And that's it. Your application is submitted. Now, please note that completing this application does not guarantee you will be approved for funding. If you have any questions throughout the application process, please refer to the applicant guide. We also encourage you to reach out to your local community foundation. Contact information can be found at communityservicesrecoveryfund.ca. Thank you for your interest in the Community Services Recovery Fund.